Yo, it's your boy Dctree from Dctree-Nation.com, where we cover hoops and heroes. And today we're talking hoop. Alright guys, by now you heard the news. I'm a little late on this. Manu Ginobili turned down the Spurs' offer to be an assistant coach. That paved the way for Tim Duncan to take the position. But when I think about Manu and the idea of him being an assistant coach, I think that position would frustrate him. I really do. And before I tell you what I mean by that, if you like my content, please sub to the channel. Okay, let me clarify what I mean before these Manu Ginobili fans get on your boy. Because if you ever made a Manu Ginobili fan mad, I'm talking about a real Manu Ginobili fan, like from Argentina. If you ever made one of them jokers mad, them jokers would threaten to cut you. You know what I'm saying? Like cut you till you bleed. They don't play with Manu. So first off, I want to say he is capable of being an assistant coach. He'll be a darn good assistant coach. What I'm saying is I think the job over time will frustrate him to the point where he may want to quit or he may second guess his decision. Because remember now, although Manu Ginobili is a heck of a shooter, heck of a passer, heck of a driver, you can make the argument that 50% of his game, maybe even more, is based off of heart, will, desire, and love for the game. And as a coach, you simply can't teach that. You can't relay intensity to players, and that could be frustrating. Think about it now. Think of the Magic Johnsons of the world, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants. There's a reason why they're not coaches. Even though Magic tried back in the day and failed very badly, it's something about that. The great players don't always make great coaches because their will is so high that average players can't meet their expectations. And I think Manu Ginobili, although he's a good guy, although he's a people person, I think, I don't know the guy personally, obviously. I think he's a people person. I think, it will be a bit of a disconnect and a gap. This isn't like Tim Duncan now. Now, Tim Duncan, he had heart, he had soul, he had all those, intangibles on the court, but he's the big fundamental. He's going to tell you, how to step right, how to jab step, how to back down your opponent, how to lay up off the glass. Very fundamental things. So he can tell you that. Manu Ginobili, although he has the fundamentals, remember now, his game was great because it was so unorthodox. Of course, he made waves with the Euro step. That was huge. But outside of that, he was just so all over the place that no one can keep up with him. It was almost like drunken boxing off a kung fu movie or something. So how are you going to teach that? Now, don't get me wrong. I think he would be a good choice. But like I said, I think he might be a little frustrated at the position. He may have to think about it. At the end of the day, the Spurs players, the young players, would have benefited in having Manu Ginobili. And reports say that Manu Ginobili wasn't keen on jumping into the position because he's only been retired for a year. And I guess he didn't want to do the travel schedule or whatnot. But I bet my bottom dollar or last dollar, whatever, I bet $1 that part of it is, would he be able to do the position for a long period of time? Will he be frustrated? Think about it now. It's very hard to be the hardest worker in the room. Okay? If you've ever been in a management position or you ever been in a position for a while, it's hard to be the best person in the room and trying to motivate people with less talent. There's a lot of politics with coaching. So he may come across a player that has the talent, but just doesn't have the will. That could be frustrating. That could be very frustrating. And that's something that every NBA coach deals with on some level. But for Manu Ginobili, since that's such an essential part of who he is in his game, I can find it that he's going to be infuriated if he comes across a Dwight Howard type of guy who just doesn't care. You get what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense out here, man. It's a weird video, I know, but stay with me. I'm not saying he'll be a bad coach. I think he'll be good, but I think he'll be frustrated. And I hope I make sense. If I don't make sense, let me know in the comments and I'll try to clarify what I mean. All right, guys, this is it for this one. For more information on Spurs, check out the main page, Dctree-Nation.com. Like us on Facebook. Don't forget to hit that sub button. Help a brother out. Peace.